was Halloween night, 1996, when a 10-year-old child, oppressed named Cain, the killer clown, decapitated his foster parents before taking the lives of 3 more. Today, that murderer resides inside these walls of Morton Downs Psychiatric Hospital.
Hi, I'm Sophia Jessica, and this is Angel, and welcome to the Fan Carpet.
Well, I mean, it's a huge relief because people seem to be responding well, which is always good. You know, there's always a little bit of trepidation that people are about how people are going to receive the film, but so far people have been really enthusiastic. Audiences seem to be really responding well, and I've had a brilliant time chatting to people who have enjoyed the film, and I've gotten exposed to lots of people who I'd never met in the horror community before doing press for the film as well. So it's been really great. Well, for me, look, I'm a VHS kid. You know, I grew up in an era when VHS was the thing, and going to the video shop and Blockbuster or whatever video shop you're going to was a huge family event, and something that as a kid was like the pinnacle of home entertainment. Really, it was, and frankly, it was how I fell in love with films in the first place. Was largely due to physical media, falling in love with actually having that tape in my hand, you know, and being able to replay it and watch the bits that I liked, and at the time it was a real luxury as well, of course, you know, to be able to just watch it on demand. Now on demand is a phrase we use all the time, but actually to have something at your fingertips. And I think for a lot of people, myself included, there's a huge nostalgia to that, and there's a huge value to that, and I think is why the physical media market still continues to do well, is because people really like to hold the thing in their hand and like to own it. And in this day of streaming, when you don't know, yes, your favorite film might be on Netflix or Amazon or Apple or whoever, it might be on there this month, but when you get 18 months down the line and you want to watch it again, all of a sudden it's gone, you know, and then you end up having to buy it in a digital form, but then you're still beholden to your subscription. You know, there's a lot of loopholes to jump through, or a lot of hoops to jump through. And I think the great thing about physical media, and the reason that it still persists, is because once you own it, no one can take it away from you. So if you've got your favorite film, and you want to hear what the director had to say, and you want to hear all the interesting things about the film, and you want to see the deleted scenes, and you're a completist about a movie, I think there's no other way to go other than physical media. Well, yeah, I mean, this whole thing was a really memorable experience, the whole set. But I have to say that also the first time that I worked with Jeanine was a really memorable moment, you know, because Jeanine was my boss. So it's quite an interesting position to be in, to basically be playing a sadist whose main job it is to kind of torture someone who is effectively paying your paycheck. But we managed to get through it, and it was wonderful to work with Jeanine, and she's a brilliant actress. So, but that was definitely one to remember, because as an actor, you know, that's an interesting one to approach as you walk into the room. You know, how do I do this? But I think the only way is to go all the way and just trust that Jeanine was a professional and a really brilliant actress who was going to take things well, and I was right. So. Well, to say that I have clowning experience is putting a little bit too fine a point on it, but I did do clowning at drama school. So when I was being classically trained, we did a module on clowning and mask work and things like that. And I certainly brought some of that to Cain. You know, there are these beautiful but very rare moments when you're working as an actor, when something very specific that you worked on at drama school, when you never thought that was ever going to come in handy, and you know, at the time you kind of think, you know, really, do we need to be doing this? Especially because I was a film guy and I was going to a very theatrically driven drama school, and sometimes I felt like I was a bit of a square peg in a round hole at that time. In retrospect, I was totally wrong, and most of the things that I've learned have come in huge handy over the course of my career. And in this case, the clowning and the mask stuff really helped. It just allowed me a way to get into character in a really quick way that allowed for the time schedule that we were working with, but a really immersive way for myself as an actor. So it kind of ticked both boxes that way. Well, look, we have no control over the other films that people make. There are a lot of clown movies. Ours is very different. If you are going for the Terrifier, we are not the Terrifier. If you are going for Killer Clowns from Outer Space, we are not Killer Clowns from Outer Space. We are Helloween, and we think we're pretty damn good, actually. So I would encourage audiences to maybe think of this less as a clown movie, if that helps, and think of it more about a movie about isolation of a serial killer for a number of decades, and then when the tables are turned on that, how things might heat up. And it's about a relationship, a very complicated relationship that is decades long between a very disturbed man and his and his doctor, and his psychiatric doctor. So if it makes you feel good to take the clown element out of it, psychologically speaking, when choosing the film, I think there's totally value in our movie away from the clown stuff. In fact, I would actually go so far as to say that I think the clown stuff is a great way to find an interesting character, find a hook for everyone in the movie to get around. But I absolutely do not think that this movie rests on the clown makeup. You know, I think that there's a slightly deeper truth to it, without wanting to get too up our own jumpers about it, because at the end of the day, it's still a spooky season movie. We still want everyone to be scared. We still achieve that. It's a punk rock, cool, badass, British indie clown movie, and it wears its heart on its sleeve. Absolutely. Look, I love working on good quality films, and whether that be studio, indie, mini majors, whatever, I don't really care. I don't care about, actually, I'm not necessarily restricted to film. I love working in TV, I love working in games, I love working in all of the things that I do. And really, variety and the good storytelling is the spice of the whole thing for me. So as far as I'm concerned, in terms of working in the indie world, I absolutely embrace it. I love it, and whenever I get the chance to do it in indie film, it's a great opportunity for me to, stretch my muscles a little bit, in my acting muscles, and work in a way that is a little bit less pampered and a little bit more about the work. And usually there's a little bit less ego involved. You move faster. There's a lot of really great things about working in indie cinema. So, the short answer to your question is yes, I absolutely love working in indie, and I would embrace the opportunity to do more. Equally, I embrace the opportunity to do more studio stuff. You know, it's great to do a little bit of both. Well, right now, like I said, I actually, being someone who works in multiple mediums, my next release, which comes out, I think, in about, what do we know? About 9 days' time, something like that. On the 21st of October, I have Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 coming out, which is a big release in the video game side of things. And then on the producing and writing side of things, I also have a film that is, with any luck, going into production next year at New Boyana Studios, called Screened, which is co-written by myself and some colleagues. There is Billy Keane and also Colin Denham, and we're working with Julian Kostoff, who you might know from The White Lotus, or Makarov from Call of Duty. He's in lots of cool stuff. And also Daniel Galligan. So we're doing some really great work on that, and we're looking to go into production early next year, so keep an eye out for that.
Thank you for watching The Fan Carpet. Please follow us on Facebook, X and Instagram for more content. Bye for now.
Hurry!
The games begin.
You show what you can do. I hear a siren. Maybe you were wrong about me. I'm dangerous and still. Why don't you give me a sign like the sea? It's not your problem, it's mine. Everybody thinks that I'm okay. Sometimes I think I am too. I'm on the outside looking in. I'm waiting for the shockwaves to begin. Oh, won't you let me hold you for one time? Just a rainy day in a London cafe. A London cafe. So give me one last serenade. Say to me, or swear at me till the night turns into day. And it was a shame when daylight faded, because we didn't notice at all.
Thank you for watching The Fan Carpet. If you like this video, be sure to click that thumbs up button at the bottom of your screen. And also be sure to subscribe to the Fan Carpet YouTube channels. They're absolutely free and so much fun too. Be sure to check out the official website, thefancarpet.com. Also, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram to stay up to date with reviews, competitions, the latest news, and so much more.